All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. And in this video, we're going to talk about the fact that it is good to be Jermall Charlo, or rather good to be Canelo Alvarez. And most likely this Jermall Charlo Canelo Alvarez fight is a wrap because of a gigantic offer that has been made to Canelo Alvarez, according to ESPN. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, man. I'm telling you, it's getting there. I am 90% certain this fight is about to pop off. Canelo Alvarez, according to ESPN, has received a pair of offers for his upcoming fight. Before we get into the subject matter and why I think this is a done deal with Jermall Charlo, let me first say, please, if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you can get all notifications. You got to make sure you click it and get all notifications. Otherwise, you'll just get some of them. Thank you for your support on the channel. Listen to the video all the way to the end and hit that like button before you go. All right, man. So what ESPN is reporting is that a big offer has been made by Al Haymon and the PBC to Canelo Alvarez for the Jermall Charlo fight. My sources are telling me that the offer is significantly bigger than what Jermall Charlo was offered to fight Caleb Plant in the last fight that they had on HBO pay-per-view, which was, Showtime pay-per-view, which was a big success for Showtime pay-per-view. He got $40 million for that fight. This one, the rumor is that he is going to get his offer is somewhere around $50 million to fight a one-fight deal with Jermall Charlo for May 7th. The other offer that he has is one from Eddie Hearn, which is a two-fight offer, which would include a fight with Dimitri Bivol for a 175-pound title, and then a trilogy fight with Gennady Golovkin. Let me tell you why that thing for Eddie Hearn is probably not going to work. Number one, and it's going to be using the words out of Eddie Hearn's own mouth. When he was talking about the offer that was made by by the PBC to Canelo Alvarez and for the fight with Caleb Plant, when he was somewhat involved with that negotiation, he was saying that the biggest holdup was that the PBC was trying to get a multiple fight deal out of Canelo Alvarez. And what purpose does it make to be a free agent if you're signing multi-fight deals? So, according to ESPN, Eddie Hearn turns around and offers Canelo Alvarez a multi-fight deal. So, Canelo Alvarez has a choice between Jermall Charlo, which is get that money, and then he could easily turn around and get a Gennady Golovkin one-fight deal with DAZN and make more money than he would have if he took a two-fight deal and passed off on a gigantic guarantee for Jermall Charlo. So for me, seeing as there is no Makabu fight coming up before May, because Makabu, I do believe, is going to be fighting. He may actually be fighting this weekend or the next, which is going to be right around the February timeframe. Then you got April, May, which is only 8 weeks until Canelo Alvarez wants to fight on May 7th for Cinco de Mayo. So Makabu for Cinco de Mayo is probably gone. And on top of that, he ain't going to make anywhere near that type of money fighting Makabu, right? So that Makabu fight is probably gone. The fight with Dimitri Bivol, they're not offering up that type of money. They're probably going to give him a good amount of money, $60 million for two fights, but you can't beat 50 for one when you know those, if you're able to beat them. then you know and it doesn't even matter. If you don't beat him, you're going to get a rematch. So, and the rematch is going to be every bit as big as the first fight if he isn't successful in beating Jermall Charlo. So, everything is pointing towards the Jermall Charlo versus Canelo Alvarez fight. And it is very clear that Showtime Boxing and Al Haymon in the PBC are very serious about continuing to work with Canelo Alvarez. They're the only ones with a viable pay-per-view model where Canelo can get a big guarantee and get an upside on the pay-per-view. If it does significantly better than the $50 million, surpasses that, whatever mark is necessary to meet the guarantee. Absolutely, dude. This is the most logical financially. This is the most logical situation for him to be in. And more importantly, dude, it is the one that is the most to do right by boxing. Been waiting for a Jermall Charlo Canelo Alvarez fight since both of those guys were at 154 pounds. And you know full well that it is going to be a good fight that is going to sell a lot of tickets and get a lot of interest behind that. None of the other fighters that Canelo Alvarez is talking about is as big a name as Jermall Charlo, or has been, or have a totally distinct fan base from Canelo Alvarez that will support that fight in droves. Canelo Alvarez versus Jermall Charlo is going to be one of those fights where you have a fight party. And if you guys are familiar with fight parties, that's when a whole bunch of people are excited about a fight and they go and they pool their money together to buy the pay-per-view. And, kind of like whenever you would see a Floyd Mayweather Jr. fight that was on pay-per-view, I think that type of buzz would be created for a Jermall Charlo fight. Now, obviously, Canelo Alvarez is a huge A-side in that particular arrangement, without a doubt. However, the fact that if they have this fight at Texas Stadium, I can't imagine the price of the tickets for that fight at Texas Stadium, or even if it's at Las Vegas, what are ridiculous amounts of money they're going to charge for those fights for the seats for a Canelo Alvarez Jermall Charlo. I remember trying to getting a ticket for somebody for the Canelo Alvarez versus Caleb Plant fight, and you could not get a nosebleed seat for less than I think it was either $750 or $950, whatever it was, but it was a distant nosebleed seat for that much, and that was with an inside connection to get those tickets. So if you're talking about a Jermall Charlo fight with Canelo, it's going to be a significantly bigger fight than that David Benavidez, than the Caleb Plant fight is going to be. So I look forward to these guys making their decision probably in the next couple weeks, because like I said, if you think about it, it is right now at the time of the making of this video, it's the last week of January. So you're going to have February, April, February, March, and April. You got about three solid months, or just enough for like a 12-week training camp for a fight that would take place on May 7th. It's not going to go much longer before he makes his decision. It's not going to be Makabu, because Makabu is not going to have enough time to prepare for that. And there's no way that they're going to get a money offered to them that's going to be anywhere near like the Jermall Charlo fight. Eddie Hearn is pitching a fight, by the way. Should turn my phone on silent. Eddie Hearn is also pitching a scenario with Canelo Alvarez that Canelo has already turned down previously. And it doesn't make sense, in Eddie Hearn's own word, for Canelo to go back and sign a 2-fight deal when he's a free agent and can easily get a Gennady Golovkin fight on a 1-fight deal, if they're not trying to trap Canelo in to multiple fights. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.